Mandatory DNA samples will now be taken from offenders guilty of serious crimes. According to forensic experts, this is meant to prevent and solve crime, especially sexual offences. Earlier this month, amendments to the criminal law forensic procedures were signed into law by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Action Society spokesperson Kelly Baloyi joins us now for more on the story. Kelly, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. It certainly has been hailed as a step in the right direction. How do you as Action Society feel about it?
Thank you, Kathy, for having me. As Action Society, we have been actively advocating for Section 36D to be signed into law. As you know, it has been put on hold in 2015. That was 6 years ago. It is way too long for such a crucial piece of legislation not to be working. In August 2021, we as Action Society wrote to the President and the Minister of Police, asking them, actually demanding them to put attention to this matter. And we are pleased to say that the President has signed Section 36D, and it will be effective from 31st of January 2022.
Of course, this amendment comes at a time where we're dealing with some really big challenges when it comes to DNA analysis in this country and the entire infrastructure around that.
Yes, definitely. We've been struggling with regards to, convicting, rapists, convicting people of crime. And for what this means for us is that people will find closure, and cold cases, it will impact, the results of cold cases. As Action Society, we believe that, DNA is the most effective crime fighting tool. And the DNA samples will populate the National Forensic DNA Database, which will assist, law enforcement to clamp down on perpetrators. We see in the case of 28-year-old Johannes Nokiri, which was serving a 10-year sentence for raping 2 women. But what happened was that DNA revealed that he was linked to 18 rape cases of women. And that means for us is that 18 families can sleep tonight and 18 more survivors can find closure.
And that's really part of the power of a system such as this, because the more centralized it becomes, the more aligned it is to other aspects of the criminal justice system, we're more likely to see breakthroughs in cases.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. We will definitely be seeing more. Our conviction rate will definitely increase. And it will really, like I said, it will assist law enforcement to clamp down on perpetrators. The sampling of Schedule 8 arrestees will make a huge impact in solving, like I said, cold cases, identifying repeat offenders, and assisting in successful prosecution of rapists and murderers.
Of course, it is still going to be difficult in as far as the waiting period that this country is now sitting with when it comes to the analysis and the processing of DNA samples.
Yes, I know the period of survivors, seeing a day in court is about 3 years. Our gender-based violence and femicide conviction rate is about 3%. In a country where 51% of women admit or say that they have experienced gender-based violence, and additionally 76% of men admitted that they have played a role or perpetrated in gender-based violence. We have about 250 cases daily reported, and it is quite, the numbers are high. But we believe that this is a step in the right direction. The Johannes Nokiri case is evident thereof, that 18 other women, they found closure due to them finding him in one case guilty. So we do see this as a step in the right direction, and we hope to see more cases coming to light, and also rapists and murderers being convicted.
What kind of changes to infrastructure, if any, are going to be needed to comply with this amendment, particularly at police stations?
Yes, that is a question, Kathy, that we are all battling with, and we are hoping that police stations there will be attention placed at police stations. SAPS officers will be skilled and trained, and consumables will be provided for them to upkeep and uphold the implementation of Section 36D. We know that at this point we are sitting with SAPS officers not able to assist victims to a point where that they can find that, that conviction, that they can find their day in court and be successful. We have, SAPS members need to be trained on how to deal with gender-based violence cases, also know how to write a to take up a docket and write out that docket so that it can stand in court. So we do need to focus on our police stations and equip our police, our SAPS members in dealing with these cases.
Mm-hmm. And oftentimes, what do you find is the challenge on the ground when it comes to the collection of DNA?
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. And like I said, with Section 36D, it is going to be mandatory. It is on the 31st of January going to be mandatory. So police, the commanders, our minister needs to make sure that the resources is there for SAPS members to upkeep and uphold Section 36D, to take on their DNA samples, to make sure that we not only serve the community or serve a survivor that has just reported a case, but also survivors that is waiting for justice at home.
Baloyi, spokesperson for Action Society. Let's leave it there for tonight.